We are live now.
We are live now. This is how it
Live from
works.
twitch.tv, this is Tauren Think Tank.
I need a cheer sound. I don't even have a
Yeah.
cheer sound.
Yay!
I need a cheer sound.
Yeah.
Hi chat room.
Hello.
How you guys doing? Hey. We're here. We are here. It is I was almost gonna say Friday. It's not Friday, it's Saturday.
It is not Friday, it is Saturday.
I went out, so Kate and I went out last night for dinner, and we went out to we got some steak. We went out for a steak dinner last night. And I was just like, oh, I've been wanting a steak dinner for like ever. And we got home and I was just like, I ate too much steak. It's Friday night.
You had a meat coma?
I was totally in a meat coma, and I had a drink, which I haven't had in a while because of the medication for my heart. And so I had this drink, and I'm just like, I stood up. And what happens with this medication is it already kind of slows down my blood pressure a bit. So with drinking, it kind of does that more. So I stood up and I went, whoa. It was like, I'm fine. Stand up. Whoa. And so, yeah, that was the best.
Instantly just, oh boy.
I'm drunk. I was really
I gotta make my way to the, where's the car? Leave me alone. I got this. Hold on, I got this. Where are my keys? Here you go.
Very, very, very smart of you to give away your keys. I gotta tweet the deets. That's what I gotta do.
Oh yeah.
I forgot.
If I'm looking off camera, it's because I'm looking to the other computer the chat room. Chat room, you guys are over on my laptop.
Tell them why, because I'm sorry that we were late. We were trying to figure this out.
Yeah, I'm at the Mrs. house. You can see my Christmas tree that I didn't think we'd get to put up this year. We put up, so it's there. About half the ornaments are Star Trek, so that's fun. And so I've got you guys on. Let's see. Oh, did it unplug?
It did.
I think it unplugged. Whoops.
Totally.
You know,
all of a sudden it's like, boom, there's your hat face.
I don't know why it did that. Let me try and bring it back. Baby, come back.
Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me.
Oh, I don't know why it turned itself off. There we go.
There, it's coming back up now.
Okay.
It might take oh, there you go.
Hey.
We see a Marconin and we see a Christmas tree. And there's a dog in the background.
Yes. That's the puppy.
What's the puppy's name?
Axel. Fierce name for a not fierce dog.
He's very tough.
Let's see if this will work now. I'm on a gigantic Mac.
You're seeing my other camera. This is that camera. Hi.
And of course the trusty microphone. And then with the cat.
Look at the cat face.
With the cat face.
So in order for me to broadcast so he can see me, I have my Mac camera on, which is why he's seeing that camera, and you guys are seeing the other one. So he's so cute.
I love that background.
That's the best. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my setup tonight because I can't.
I love it. The living room looks so pretty.
It does. Thank you. Yeah, we did a little bit of arranging and to get the tree up, but it looks really good. And it's really cool. I'm glad we got it up because every year we get the Star Trek ornament, and I have to put it on the tree. So we put last year's on the tree, and this year I think I'm getting this year's for Christmas. That's usually what we do.
Nice. So. Hey, chat room, how's our balance tonight?
Yes.
How's the
audio levels? How do we need it?
Marconin louder than me? Because if
how loud am I?
Adjust it.
Tell me,
look at all these awesome people who are here tonight. My goodness.
There's so many people. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for a Tauren Think Tank tonight. We appreciate and love every single one of you. And hopefully we're going to have a nice show for you. Be a good time. Be a very good time.
They're saying slightly louder or too equal. Let's see here. I'll flip that around a little bit.
I'm a little bit higher. Hey, Natani. Hello, Chief.
I bring it down a little bit and see if you like it.
Hello, Bim.
How
is everybody doing tonight?
They're asking for more accents, so
more more accents to test the balance.
Check our Twitter. Check our Twitter, Natani. I'm looking.
Okay.
Which one? My Twitter or the Triple T Twitter? No, it's got to be my Twitter.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Look at the picture. That is awesome. This is what I just laughed at right here. Right
hey there, Moo.
MacGyver, I love you so much. That is most excellent. Oh,
that's awesome. Yeah, MacGyver, you got to get your kids some Mountain Dew one day. Don't worry, it won't affect them too much.
Oh, he wants to hear more water. Oh crap! It's just blanking out of my head. How do I say it right in the Aussie way?
Water. Is it water?
No.
Water. So.
No. Well, yeah, but no. It doesn't sound right when I say it. Water. What? No, that's British. I'm totally blanking. Water. That's New Jersey right there. Water.
Water.
And it's British. Damn it.
I'd have to hear him. I gotta go down there and spend like a month hanging out with them and just kind of immerse myself in the accent so I can do it better.
Tani is cracking up at us because we're so lame. We are lame, by the way. Which is awesome. Sound check, 1 2 1 2. Sound check. Okay, 1 sec here.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more,
all right.
Yeah, you got to channel your inner Hugh Jackman. Yeah, 20. You can come with me. We can spend a month down there.
Oh my gosh, Lori's talking about Marsha. Marsha is she. Oh, I will never ever ever forget that. And then when I go and I visit my parents, it's the same thing. So. My mom and dad were my mom actually spoke in the chat room and I remembered it better on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping, I think they're here tonight. I'm not sure. They haven't texted me. Let me check my phone. Yeah, he said, yeah, he's a little louder. Dad texted me. I can't, it's on Do Not Disturb, so it won't notify me, Dad. But, so you have to type in the chat room. Like everybody else, because that's what I'm looking at.
Uh-oh.
Papa Jules might be making an appearance tonight. You'll see. But all right, it is 9:06, so it's probably time for us to get rolling. Are you feeling good?
Stretch. Yeah, stretch. I'm feeling good. Feeling great.
Strike a pose.
Come on, move. Let your body move to the groove.
Oh man,
I can't sing that high very well, so it's
a little Madonna in your life. That is always a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, chat room, are you guys ready? We're ready. We're here. Let's do a show. I'm excited. These are some really good questions tonight. They always are, but these are really fun. I'm really looking forward to digging in. Today it is not the 12th. It is the 13th.
Yep, it's 12, 13, 14.
I almost screwed that up.
Evelani's ready.
I fixed it. Okay. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1.
you're listening to Tauren Think Tank, the World of Warcraft podcast for you, the World of Warcraft player.
Welcome to episode 126 of Tauren Think Tank. Today is Saturday, December 13th. It's 12/13/14. It is 9:08 in the PM in the Central Time Zone, because Mark Honan is in the Central Time Zone too. That's right. Mark Honan is here too. I'm Jules.
Yes, I am.
And that's Mark
And
Honan.
I am also in the Central Time Zone.
Oh, are we Draenei today?
We might be.
I love how it gets deeper when you go to Draenei.
Well, I'm channeling Murad. I have to, because we all are one with the light. I have to do that. It's got such a good voice.
He's so regal when he talks.
Yes.
And it's so true, because, you've got all of the different Draenei voices and they all have different, but as soon as Murad comes in and it's like, we are all one. And it's just this really deep kind of majestic
gives you
voice.
chills. Like I felt hairs on the back of my neck when I was talking to him. Just yes.
I love it. And I'm running right now. I'm running through some of the introductory quests in Draenor, in Shadowmoon Valley, and now in Gorgrond, and it's just like I'm so in love with the Draenei again. I missed them.
Yeah.
And I love them now again.
Yeah, I remember back in Mists, somebody had asked one of the devs like, "Hey, when is the Draenei going to get some love again? Like there's been nothing since BC," and they were like, "Well, we'll get to him somehow." He. And then they kicked Draenor at us, and Draenei is half of the whole entire expansion, and it just, yeah, it took a lot for me not to change the race of my paladin from human to Draenei, because I was like, I feel this need to walk around on blue hooves. So
I'm actually there's a small amount of me that wants to change Julaxis, my monk, who is currently a panda, to a Draenei. There's this little tempting thing that I want to do. I really love my panda, but I don't know. It feels really weird now to be in the past, in the future, and being a panda.
Being a panda, yeah, it doesn't feel quite alternate timeline BC, does it?
It doesn't. And I went from like loving my panda to being like, I'm kind of over that now. And so
that was
I'm
so
still thinking about it though.
Jules.
What's that?
So last expansion.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I might totally need to be a Draenei. I mean, like, oh.
Like totally. Like if you can't be a brown orc, you gotta be a Draenei. You've got to. It's the way of the world now, Jules. It's the way of Draenor. Got to do it.
The way you said brown orc just killed me. Wow, that was.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
How are you? What's going on in your world this week?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. I've had a pretty full week. Well, work was really light this week, but that gave me a lot of time to work on some other projects I'm working on, some audio things, some stuff that you guys will need to stay tuned for. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. But yeah, there's just some things up my sleeve that I'm working on for some other people too, but mostly stuff that, well, anyway, I'll just keep it at that. But yeah, so I've been pretty busy working on that. Put up my Christmas tree, as the people who are watching on YouTube or live can see. So it's up.
It's beautiful.
And thank you. It's a lot shorter than the one I put up in my grandmother's. It's 3 feet shorter than the other one. So I didn't need a ladder for this one.
Oh gosh, yeah. 9-foot Christmas tree, you definitely need a ladder.
Yeah. But yeah, I had that, and as far as in-game stuff, because of all the audio work, I haven't played much in-game, but I did fulfill my one wish ever since Azeroth choppers came out, and that was I purchased the Champion's Treadblade, the Alliance chopper, for almost all of my gold. So
I can't imagine how much that like depleted your supplies of gold.
Oh, almost all the way. Like I waited until I had a little bit of walking around money on my mage, and then I was like, okay, I've got to get it. So I went and spent the money. In fact, I went and bought this black cloth. It looked like a biker, like black leather transmog outfit, and I spent like almost 1,200 gold on the transmog for it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because it was all low-level BOEs that are only there for good looks now, so you can charge a lot. So I put on this thing, and then I got out in front of the store and went and hopped on the hog. Now, if you see a gnome on this thing, they are standing on the seat. Like, they're not even sitting down. They're standing up and, like, trying to hold on to the bars. They could barely fit on the thing, and it's hilarious. I've got a picture of him, kind of side shot of him just standing on it, so it's pretty funny.
You put up some amazing pictures on Twitter of Mark Honan the gnome on that bike, and it is impressive. I have never been tempted by anything to spend 100,000 gold. And I saw you get that thing, and I'm like, oh no. I don't have 100,000 gold, anything close to it, but I feel like I need to start working on that.
Kind of a shut up and take my money kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like that.
Take it.
Yeah, it was like that. Looking at it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally need to do that. So yeah, I guess I know what I'm going to be doing for the next year.
Yep.
Trying to earn money for that chopper is awesome.
It's so beautiful.
Badass.
I wish I could have sat on the real deal at BlizzCon without getting arrested. So I could have a shot of me on top of it and then my gnome on top of his, but I had to settle for the one I put on Twitter earlier this week.
That picture, if you haven't seen it, you need to look at it, because Marconin did a side-by-side picture of him standing next to the bike at BlizzCon, the actual real bike that was there, and then a picture of his gnome on the bike in the game. And it was super, super cool. It was just like, and he said the circle is complete. And it was just like, that was the best. I mean, it was almost like you planned it.
Almost like I planned it.
Like I planned to take this picture of BlizzCon, and now I'm going to take my picture on the bike. So very cool.
Yeah, well, either way, I had to get a picture in front of the real thing. So it was those bikes were, even though there was a lot of flack about the Alliance bike, you get there in person, you're like, oh, I want to ride that thing. I don't even know how to ride a motorcycle, but I just want to be there on it.
It was impressive.
Yeah. So what have you been doing this week?
Okay, so last week I said, we're not raiding on Cat on Fire until the new year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get downstairs and Kane goes, what? And I said, I thought we were going to be taking our time. And he goes, I think most of the people that are there, they're pretty much ready to raid. Why don't you ask the team? And so I asked the team in our group me, and they're all like, yeah, I'm ready to raid next week. I'm good. I've got this eye level, And I'm like, well, okay, I guess I need to get my ass in gear.
Where's it going to
So apparently we went from the end of the year to this Monday that we're going to be starting to raid, which is awesome. I mean, I went out and I focused, and I went and got my 680 ring, and I did a couple, but tomorrow I'm going to run LFR because there's a good chance of 640 gear there.
You done your world bosses for the week?
Yes, ran around, did world bosses, and I've done, just a whole bunch of different stuff. Very, very, I was focused on that, and then today I also played on my monk for a while, so I just do the leveling up. But what I find interesting right now for me in the game is the time management feels that I have. I feel like I have to do certain things, not that I want to do certain things.
Uh-huh.
It's that feeling when you log in and your garrison has so my stables have a bunch of daily quests to do. And I have to go, oh crap, my lumber mill is out of work orders and I'm out of lumber. I've got to go find some lumber. It's all this stuff that I feel like I have to do or I'm going to be behind and I'm going to screw myself. And I don't want to do that. And so I'm like, so every night, and I had a bit of a busy week. We were doing stuff and I was tired because there was so much stuff going on just kind of with the holidays. And so there were some nights where I would literally just log in to get my garrison stuff started and then be like, oh, I'm going to bed. So, So yeah, there was that. Tuesday, I got informed that my stepdaughter was going to be in a choir concert that night. I got informed of it at 4:45 that I was going to a choir concert that night. So I was like, oh, I guess I know what I'm doing with my evening.
I'm glad they gave you such a far ahead notice,
Yes, it was awesome. Welcome to the world of having children. But there was a lot of things going on. So I kind of feel I'm not feeling garrison burnout, but I'm feeling a little bit of garrison guilt. And I'm wondering if other people have garrison guilt as well.
Guilt as far as not doing it or skipping out on it. Yeah, I kind of am too, because I was on the road and busy most of yesterday. But I had enough time. Right when I woke up, I got in game and I made sure all my work orders were in, and I did all of I did the mine, I did the herb garden, I sent everything where I needed to. I did my 2 daily cooldowns for alchemy, and I was like, okay, I'm good. And I didn't bother with the daily, the Apex's Crystal daily, because I was like, that's going to take some time. And I did my stables dailies. Oh, I finally unlocked all 6 of the mounts at the stables. So now I'm working on the 2 achievement ones now, and then I'll be done with the stables.
That's
awesome.
I had to do those. I'm way behind you on that. I had to go get the Elec today. That stupid Elec that jumps off of cliffs and ledges. Have you done that one? Where you have to rope him and chase him. And I'm going, that little blah, 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 is jumping off this ledge, and I can't follow him, and I keep breaking the lasso. What the hell? And I kept swearing, and Kane goes, well, then you're going to have to do something else. And I'm like, no, I'm supposed to follow him. And he jumps farther than me. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm yelling at an Elec.
Is it where it jumps from one platform in the ground to another?
Yeah, so it goes from, it's in this little thing of water, and then it runs up a hill, and it runs around this like rock ledge formation, and then it jumps from one like ledge to the other ledge, and it looks like you should be able to clear that jump, and you cannot on a mount.
Yeah. There a rock? There's the rock thing next to it though, right?
Yeah, I had to figure that out, but
Yeah.
I had to be close enough to it so that the lasso didn't get too far away from him. So I am swearing at this thing today.
That took me a few tries too. Yeah.
Cursing the name of this stupid Elec, and I'm like, this is so dumb. But I got it. That I felt like I felt like the Elec did not best me, so I was much more satisfied with my own well-being. I didn't feel like I was a complete failure, so because an Elec was able to outrun me, and so these are the things. Chat room is talking about garrison guilt and alt guilt, and I think that I am feeling the alt guilt as well.
Yeah, I am too.
It's hard because I want to play my monk, but I've got other things that I knew, like preparing for raid and that kind of stuff. So you're just like, oh.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like that at the beginning of every expansion, because at the beginning of the expansion, it's not alt friendly because your focus is on your main, especially if you're a raider, you're ready to raid, or you're PvP, or you're ready to get your gear and you're ready to get your ranking, get your conquest points for the week. So at the beginning of every expansion, it's not alt friendly to begin with. Yeah. And then you add on top of it the garrisons and like this kind of, they're not dailies, but you kind of feel obligated to do everything in the garrison. So it's kind of two things stacked on top of each other, making you feel that way. So I absolutely feel that.
Yeah. I'm still having a blast, though. I mean, I spent a good portion of my day today after I did my chores around the house. I was like, I'll play WoW for today, and it was great because I could have the time. And so I'm enjoying that too. So thank you, Warlords, for taking me out of like unpacking boxes that I've ordered from Amazon. Because I've got my living room is literally being taken over by boxes right now because I keep ordering stuff from Amazon for the holidays and things that were on sale. And it just, and then my mom and my dad are sending things for my stepdaughter for the holidays. And so there's just boxes. And I'm just like, I need to do something about these. I'll do it later.
Yeah. You need to go get in your garrison for right now. Go get those. You got it. Your herb garden needs you.
Yes, it does. That herb garden's not going to weed itself, yo.
No, it's not.
Oh, all right. Well, we've got a lot of show tonight. We've got some great stuff to talk about. So we are going to get rolling into our discussion topic right now.
Let's kick around some ideas, not gnomes.
Poor little gnome. Okay. Fair warning. This discussion topic is a letter, and it is a little lengthy. However, I do think that it is really going to be something that we can sink our teeth into, and something that you guys will very much enjoy. So just buckle in for a little bit because I'm going to be reading. So here we go. Hello, Jules and Marconin. I just wanted to take a few minutes to express my appreciation for the show that you've created. In many ways, this show has helped me with getting through some very difficult times. It was wonderful to spend a few minutes speaking with you and Marconin. By the way, it's 70 degrees here in Arizona, which we spoke about, the weather, while my son and I were hanging out with you guys. Now, why I took the time to write the show. In 2008, I found out that my then wife was not happy and began talking to another man from her past. This hit me like a truck. We'd been together for over 15 years and had 2 wonderful kids together. One you met, my son, and the other is now an 18-year-old daughter. I was a hard worker, always trying to provide as much for my family as physically possible. I worked for many years as a cable installer and then made the move to become a supervisor. The reason I worked so hard is to make as much money as possible so I could be a better provider. This was the way I was raised. There was a joke around the office that I had always had a knack to make the right decision when it came to my career. So after becoming a supervisor, I was spending many extra hours working and not often home when I should be because I was trying to make a good impression with my employees and earn their trust. So in early 2008, I found out my wife was talking to her oldest daughter's father and began rekindling feelings for each other. I noticed late night texting, hiding while texting him, and also sleeping with the phone under her pillow. Although it bothered me, I kind of let it go for a while. Then one evening, I was cooking dinner and found out from my oldest stepdaughter that her mom was going to ask for a divorce. This upset my oldest son, who's in the military now, that he began violently punching the counters and cabinets in the house. I had to wrap him up and hug him tightly so he would not hurt himself and whisper in his ear that everything would be okay. A few months passed, and after I repeatedly asked to see a counselor, she decided to say to me that she did not want to work it out, and she was leaving me for the weekend to go see him. That was my breaking point, and I decided enough was enough. I filed at this time. I was heartbroken and so dang depressed I didn't know which way was up. As many people know, a divorce is very dirty, and that was no exception for me either. I was painted in a very bad light to the judge in court. After a few months of defending myself with the help of an attorney, I was able to gain joint custody with a 50-50 split time with my kids. This was okay for a while until the kids would come over and tell me she was completely bad-talking me and venting her anger at me with our kids. I refused to stoop to that level and never said anything bad about her to our kids, and in private it was a different story. I also had to file for bankruptcy just after the divorce. Arizona is a community property state, so basically meant I was responsible for the 10 credit cards and the truck purchased during this time without my knowledge. Then my daughter had a hard time with everything and needed to see a counselor, was hanging out with a bad crowd of friends, but needless to say, she got through it and graduated high school on time. I could go on for days about everything I've been through over this. Then I found this show called Tauren Think Tank. OMG. I'm not the only one that goes through so much crap, was my initial thought. I loved how your show focused more on people and their lives than the game itself. I could relate to so many things that Jules and Rem would talk about. I would look forward to the show every week. And then Rem decided to quit. I thought the show was gone. Mark Honan came into the picture, and the show feels better than ever before. There is so much chemistry and depth. So basically, friends and family helped me get through most of this stuff. There's more I could speak about, but the better I would. The more I could speak about it, the better I would feel. I then got back into WoW after taking a year off, and that would soak up the free time I had to sit and think about everything. So keeping occupied with WoW again helped me again for a short time to forget about the bad things. So good things that came out of all this is I have an even better relationship with my kids. I make yearly vacation plans with them every year to travel to a place we have not been to in the past. Basically, the only thing I found that helps me is time. Time heals all. Money is not the most important thing to me. The one and only thing is my family. How do you handle extreme stress in your life? And how do you cope when you feel that there's no end in sight? Sorry for the long email, but I felt compelled to write in. Thank you so much for your time. With much love, Czar from Scryers US, a.k.a. Josh Collins, the father and son you two met at BlizzCon. Oh, first of all, Czar, thank you so much for writing in. He wrote on his the subject line, he's like, we're the father and son you met at BlizzCon. I'm like, yes, thank you.
I remember them.
So that was outstanding. I was so excited to see that. And amazing story that he shared about this whole thing. I mean, you've been through a lot.
Yeah, that really is a lot to go through.
So I wanted to read his whole story because his question to us is, how do you deal with extreme stress in your life, and how do you cope when you feel like it's never going to end? And so I think this is an excellent thing for us to talk about on this show, because everybody deals with stress differently, and everybody's had different experiences with extreme stress. Some people are lucky enough that they have never really had to deal with a lot of it. But when I thought about this letter, one of the things that I thought about is I kind of broke it down to two categories. I think that there's a category of extreme stress when you are in control of what's happening. So you've decided you're going to change your job or move to a different location or state or house or whatever it is. You've made that choice to make the change, but it's still very stressful. And then there's the other side. That's the uncontrollable stress, a death, a divorce, an illness, an accident. Losing your job. Yeah. And so I think you can think about these two categories and then how you deal with them. So Mark Honan, when you think about how you have dealt with extreme stress in your life, I'm sure you've probably had a bit of both.
Yeah, I have had a bit of both. I'm one of the I'm of the mind where I don't like change. I don't like things to drastically change because I these things are where I like them to be, so I like them there, and I want them to stay there. And so it's hard for me to make decisions that give you that first kind of stress where it's self-inflicted as opposed to like world inflicted.
Yeah.
So the self-inflicted stress, I've had whenever I would change jobs, it did stress me out, and part of it for me is that I would not think about it. I'd do my best to just block it out. I know that's not always the healthiest thing to do, but that was a coping mechanism for me, is to just not think about it, not just put it out of my mind, focus on other things, and try and just not think about it. Because if it's self-inflicted, then there's not really, I can't blame anybody for it but myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to change jobs. So yeah, I'm stressed out about trying to find, where I need this and that, but I can't, there's no place to put the blame. So there's no need for me to blame myself.
So you're saying when you get into those situations, it's basically like head down, move forward, keep going, don't think about it.
Yeah, that's at that I attempt to do that, and it usually works for the self-inflicted stress. For the other forces inflicting stress on me, it's a different story. It's really hard, much more hard for me to deal with stress that's inflicted by other people or by other events. It's about death in the family that affects you a great deal. Like when we lost one of our family cats earlier this year. And she was almost 17 years old. So, gosh, half of my life she's been around. She's been there, and it was really rough, And I know how that feels.
Yes.
To lose a very close pet, and it was just. It took time. It took me looking through old pictures of her when she was little. I was playing with her, and just all these good things that we had about her. Remembering the good times is, for a death in the family, is for me how I can cope with it. Is just to, kind of head down, focus on the good things and not worry about the bad things. Yeah. Another thing I try to do, music is a big part of my life, and it's a big mood setter. And sometimes when I know earlier this year I was having just a bad bout of stress and depression mixed together, and it was like lasted for 4 days or so. And so when I was working nights, I couldn't do anything but sit in the hotel room with my coworkers and then go to work. I had no escape. So I chose to use music. That's my default to go back to. And so I put on some gospel. I put on some music that helped me out, some more positive music, and just kind of think about that, and let the emotion and let the feeling that the music is supposed to give you, let it just kind of roll over me. And I would sing along. I'd be kind of humming to it at work because I have my headphones in while I'm doing my work, and it would help me out a whole lot. So I would say that's number one. Number two is sharing it. I would share it with my family, share it with close friends, and just kind of just vent. I was like, I know you don't want to hear a whole lot of big sob stories, but can I just tell you, like I did that with Rayanne a few days ago. I was like, can I just talk for a minute? I just need to talk to somebody. And that, just having that conversation with other people, and just having any conversation really would help, because you're sharing your life with somebody for a few minutes, just in that kind of back and forth, and that kind of, I guess, kind of grounds you in a sense. So that's the way it works for me usually.
I want to drop back to the discussion about music.
Absolutely.
Because I'm intrigued by that, and it actually just kind of made me have a little bit of a realization of what I do when I'm under extreme stress. I am a very emotional person, but I guess I've trained myself to hold that emotion back as far as I possibly can, because it's never the right time, or you can't deal with that now, or I've learned, it's a learned response, to be able to back it off and wall it off, shut it back, hold it so that it doesn't come out. And when I wind up listening to music, that is sometimes how I break through that wall. That's how I break it down. I mean, the emotion of BlizzCon, not to keep harping on BlizzCon, but the emotion of BlizzCon was one of those things where it was almost overwhelming for me because it was so intense for so long. And I went and downloaded like the sappiest piano music I could while we were waiting in the airport, because I had just gotten my new phone and I had forgotten to load it with all of my music. And so I wound up getting like a Jim Brickman album, which I absolutely love, Jim Brickman. And it was like all of his ballads, the one that are just like, you know, about friendship and love and all that stuff. And so it's the music with the piano and then someone singing. And I sat on that plane from LAX to Chicago and I cried the whole way home. And I was just like, I'm listening to this music and it was just like the emotion all just went blah, and it just came out.
Yeah.
And because I let it go. And at that point, I'm just like, you know, F it. I'm sitting here on the plane. No one can see me anyway except Arcane. So it's just a matter of me getting it out and making myself feel better and just like feeling the emotions. In converse, I have, I guess, unfortunately had experiences with death in family really young, as a young person, and people who passed away before they should have. And it was all on my mom's side of the family. And it was all very, very painful. I lost my grandfather when I was 8. I lost 2 uncles before I was out of high school. One of them to suicide. One of them to illness. And we lost a great aunt who was kind of the glue of the family. And we had always celebrated all of our holidays at her house. And she was gone. And and I had every part of it. You know, dealing with death when you're young is so hard to kind of put it together. I find myself like after when my aunt died when I want to say I was probably like in my 20s when it happened. I just remember that everything shut off. Everything shut off. I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't think anything. It was just like, don't talk to me. The world needs to stop. I don't want to have anybody, you know, it was this weird thing. And I'm amazed at how the mind, the human mind can protect you from your pain, from your frustration, from, you know, hurting your brain, you know, hurting yourself until it's time for you to deal with it. And you can kind of come out. But extreme stress, if you don't have those coping mechanisms or they aren't as strong or you're dealing with depression and then you have to deal with that, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine how hard that is. Can't even imagine it. So my extreme stress, unfortunately, is that I get really bitchy. When it gets really, really bad, I get really bitchy. and
start pointing the finger and doing the snaps and
no, it's just that I'm grouchy and I'm snappish and like I'll just, you know, I'll bite your head off for no reason. I react without thinking. It's not, you know, it's just this feeling of that, you know, your brain just wants to just blow up because you're feeling all this pressure. With what Czar has dealt with, where you're talking about yourself, when you're talking about your children, when you're talking about your job, it is like all of the things that are around you are feeling like they're at war against you. It can be so dangerous to you. And if you don't have the ability to have a good friend like Rayanne, to call her up and say, can you just listen to me talk? It comes out in the wrong ways. It comes out, you know, you attack other people, that don't deserve it. You know, yell at the store clerk in the middle of Kohl's and, you know, rip their head off because, or Best Buy or whatever it is.
I was going to say, this starts to sound like a personal story. And the person at Kohl's who didn't have the right frying pan that I needed.
Yeah, because that was it. You know, after everything you've been through, all the crap that's going on in your life, that frying pan was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Exactly.
And guess who got the brunt of everything else that's going on? And so when you're in a customer service role, when you're in a retail role, they teach you this. They're like, whatever vitriol that person is spouting off of you, that is actually their own crap that they're just, you are getting their redirected crap. The unfortunate thing is that you got to sit there and take it.
Yeah, you do.
And that is so extreme stress when it's uncontrolled, of, you know, or not something that you chose to have happen, I think is one of the most difficult things to deal with. You know, your life is functioning the way you want it to function, and and you get a phone call that changes your life. You didn't ask for it; it happened, and so the mark of what we call strength is how you deal with that. Do you fall down on the floor, and do you give up and say that the world has taken me over and I'm done? Or do you pick yourself up and say, head down, let's go forward, let's take it on, we'll deal with it later. But you also have to remember that it is not necessarily going to be gone when you put your head down and you go forward.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to deal with it at some point. It's going to come out.
It's not going to go away completely.
Yeah. I heard an amazing story one time where I was in a training session. I used to work for a furniture store as a sales manager or sales lead, and it was a sales presentation. It was talking about people and assumptions that you make about somebody. And he talked about how, let's say you're driving down and you're going to get into a merge lane on the highway. You're trying to merge in, and the person who is supposed to move over to let you into the merge lane on the highway is just going straight. They're not letting you in. It makes you slam on your brakes, and you are swearing up a storm and cursing at this person. How can you be on the road, you stupid idiot? And you have just ripped this person a new one in your head, in your car. What you don't know is that this person has been driving home from their parents' hospital bed. Their parent was hit by a car and had died, and you are now going home to tell your children. And you got, and like the entire room when we were listening to this story just went silent. And he said, you never ever know what someone is dealing with. You never know what someone has is going through. You just don't know what happened to that person to get there. And I will never forget it in the entire my life. I will never forget that story, because it was like, yeah. And I try to remember that. I try to remember that at every given point, that when I am stressed and I am pissed off at somebody because they did me wrong on something, you just never know what they are going through.
Yeah, Eva Lonnie actually pointed that out almost verbatim a couple minutes ago in the chat room, that you never know. She said it, but it's a good time to remember you never know what someone else is dealing with.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's right on with that one. Exactly.
Well, I think in our society, in my opinion, that we tend to expect, especially Americans, we expect that people are trying to hurt us more often than they're actually doing it. Or that they're just, that they're doing something stupid. The guy who cuts you off in the middle of a turn signal, he just may be distracted and a bad driver, but there could be something else going on,
Yeah.
And wouldn't you feel bad knowing that this guy was like, his contact lens had fallen out and he was trying to find it so he wouldn't hit anybody? Or there's always a story behind these things, and sometimes it really is just, that person's a jerk. But we assume that person's a jerk a lot more than I bet it is actually the truth.
Yeah, and you could even bounce that to wow, like if the person that that picked the herb before you, like I was a couple days ago, I was trying to get to this piece of timber. And I'm sitting there killing the enemy right next to it, and some night elf just comes over, gets it, and then looks at me, looks at the tree, gets it, and then leaves. And I start thinking that. And you're like, oh, you son of a! I can't believe. And now I'm thinking, it's like, well, it's just some timber. He might have, I don't know, there's something because there are people behind the avatars. Just there are people behind the wheel in other cars on the highway.
Yeah.
They're people too. They have just as much stress, sometimes more. Most of the time more, sometimes less stress in their lives than you have right now. And so, if before you flare up and get mad and have a big, fit in game or out of game about somebody, try to remember what Jules and Evalani said, that some people are dealing with a lot more stuff than you know about.
Yeah. And you just, it's a very strong lesson that I've walked with in for a very long time, is that I try to think about somebody else's situation, and what they might be experiencing, and that when they go after you, or you feel like they're going after you, it's really a byproduct of something much bigger than you are ever going to be in their life. If you work in a service industry and you get yelled at by a customer, Kane deals with that every single day of his job, and it's Christmas, and man, he's dealing with it like you would not believe the stories he brings home. Every Christmas season are always just.
It's terrible. It is terrible in the retail industry. I don't deal with customers as much as people in the business all the year long, but I've had to diffuse some situations and try to explain to some customers like, hey, this is nothing she did wrong. This is nothing they did wrong, just to try and calm people down, because I know it's a stressful time of the year, and know that person behind the counter did not ruin Christmas because you didn't order it in time, or I'm sorry, we don't have it, or we don't have it in this color, or just something, these little petty things, it's, just like, we, people in the retail industry need to understand where the customers are coming from. I think the customers need to try and understand where we're coming from. We go home to our families and we put our Christmas trees up and we get presents for our folks and stuff too. We're human beings too, and everybody just needs to realize that all the way around.
Exactly. And you made a point earlier about the choice maybe of going and changing your job or moving, the stress that you've chosen, that you've inflicted, quote unquote, on yourself, and how you said, I don't have the right to complain because I chose this path. I wish that more people would remember that. I wish more people would think about that. When you make a choice to do something, and please understand, I know how stressful these things can be, and when stuff doesn't go right and you hate it every second of it and it just feels like the world is going to crash in on you, it is horrible, and that's real stress. But at the same time, it just takes a moment for you to step back and to say, look, I picked this. I chose to do this. I need to remember this. And, yeah, it sucks. And yeah, it's taken 2 days longer than I expected it would. But you know what? It's going to be over soon. We're here now. I can't change it. Let's go and take care of it. And I just I think that when you talk about stress, especially this time of year, and you talk about people in the service industry, the people who work in it, and the people that you interact with them, that it is a stressful time of year. A lot of people hate the holidays. A lot of people love the holidays, and they do it all to the nines, and they've just completely made themselves sick because they're trying to do it. There's so many things that people are going through. And so the way that you can deal with the extreme stress is to try to understand. It's yourself, other people, situations, take a step back, take a deep breath, all those trite things that you say when it talks about it, but it just, for me, sometimes it just takes a little change of perspective, or just a moment to say, take yourself out of here for a second, just a moment, take yourself out of it, and go from there. So and is there anything else that you want to talk about with this? Because, extreme stress is everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know, how do you cope with it when you feel there's no end in sight? It's just trying to lean on those things that help you out normally. Like as I said earlier, with contacting family or, friends or music, just dig in deep when you feel there's no end in sight. And trust me, I have been depressed. I have been all the way down and depressed, and it took a gigantic will of effort on my part to try and take that first step back up, and start to start thinking about things I can grab onto. There's always something, a little branch that you can think about, that you can grab onto, get your first handhold or foothold, and work your way back up. And it's just thinking about it in that way and not giving up. That I think is the most important step in coming back from extreme stress. So that's really all I could think to add to it, really.
Midnight in the chat room just made an excellent point, and I wanted to touch on it. She said it's also really tricky to know how to help friends dealing with stress. Some people need hugs or discussions. Others need a lot of extra space on their own. And that is a most excellent point. The challenge with it is trying to figure out when you know somebody who is stressed, and trying to get them to, either do what they need to make them feel better. It's a very powerless position to be somebody who is a partner of someone who's under extreme stress, or a friend or something like that. Because if like for me, I burrow into my own brain. It's very hard for Kane to break it out. It's very hard for him to get me to talk, because all I do is I burrow it into my brain, and then I spin it and spin it and spin it, and I spin it to the point where it gets consuming, and then it starts coming out in the deconstructive, or destructive ways. It winds up boom, 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 and it blows up here and it blows up here, or I just it's destructive, and it doesn't work that way. And so sometimes he literally has to get in my face and just make sure that I understand that you need to talk about this. You need to tell me what's going on, instead of assuming that I know, or that kind of thing. Sorry, I got a tickle in my throat. It's just there are so many different ways that people deal with stress. And you have to, for those that you care about that are under the stress, if they're the ones that are under the stress, I should say, then you should be somebody who is trying to help them through it the way that they need it. But if you are the person who is under the stress, then you need to make sure that you understand that other people, they're being affected by you.
Yeah,
by
and if and no matter how that person, like if you're the friend or family member of somebody who's under stress, if you know how they deal with stress, just even if you don't, let them know that you are here to help when and if they need it. I've done that before. I've talked to friends. I was like, I don't know how you need help, but however you need it, tell me, and I'll be there. I'll help. Whatever you need, just tell me.
That is so simple, and it's
just
so
to let
effective.
them know. Yeah, just let them know that you're there. And that's sometimes that is the little handhold that they need to start coming back up, is knowing that someone is there. Getting that response back, that someone is there, no matter if they go off on their own for a bit and lone wolf for a while to deal with their stress, or if they need to share something. They just having those people there when they get back is really, really important.
And there are some people and people that I have had in my life who unfortunately have the negative side of that, where they feel like all they do is drain on other people to try to help them through their stress. And when those people fatigue on the ability to be able to be there all the time, because it is all the time, it's all they talk about, it's all the things that they need, that there's a fatigue that happens, and then there's a resentment that occurs between the person who's dealing with the stress, who's like, well, why aren't you here to be here for me, when it's been, months and months and months of that person dumping. There has to be some balance.
Sure.
I saw this happen with someone recently, where it was like, a child, or an adult child was sick and disabled. And in the beginning, everybody was there. Everybody was there to support and, offer kind messages and that kind of thing. But as the situation went on and things stabilized, then people kind of went on their lives. And that there was a resentment from the person who was the caregiver, saying, well, where did everybody go? Why didn't they stick around? Because I need you. Well, it was like literally the same thing over and over again. This is never going to get better. This is so hard. I'm so sad. And it was this whole, like, after a while, I mean, people have to live their own lives too.
Yeah, it was. Do you think it was kind of like a pity party thing?
Yeah,
like they kept,
totally.
Feeding off that, because being there for someone is one thing, but you've got to start the process of improving your situation at some point. You can't just rely on them. They're there for you, but they're not there to hold your hand all the time.
Yeah, and that is the most delicate balance between friends that you can muster, because, the friend who is there as the support mechanism, even if they are the best friend in the entire world for you, there's only so much that they can do for you. There's only so much that they can, hear about the situation 25 times before it's like, I've heard this and you now need to figure it out, or you need to
what are you going to do about it?
And what are you going to do about it? Yeah. And so I would say that's a bit of the negative side of the extreme stress, is when you get yourself so bogged down in it that you are immobile and you can't move forward.
Yeah.
So Czar, who wrote us, obviously dealt with a lot and overcame so much more, and is, thank you very, very much for the credit that you gave to this show for that. I mean, if we could have contributed to entertainment and thought, that is beyond me. That's a fantastic thing. And by the way, thank you for the amazing compliment to Marconin, by the way. Applause to Marconin.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much, Zara. I appreciate it.
I can't agree with him more, and it was such a compliment for him to say that this show is better than ever. Thank you for that. That really means more than you could ever know to the two of us. So
yes, thank you. And it was such a pleasure to meet the two of you at BlizzCon too. It was fantastic. It was. I'm failing at words right now because it was so cool. Just to be around people who enjoy what we do, enjoy the creative process and the what we do to help listeners. So thank you.
Absolutely. So, and I'm just really glad that we got a chance to hear from him again. Thank you for listening to the show, Czar, for saying hello at BlizzCon. And he also made a note about how you never got a chance to meet Arcane, and Arcane just feels really bad about that. So next year, hopefully you can make it again.
Yes. That would be fantastic.
So that is our discussion topic for this evening. If you would like to contribute a discussion topic for the show, you can send it in at questions@taurenThinkTank.com. It is our email address for all things related to the show. Feedback, advice, questions, discussion topics, or just drop us a line. That's what you can do. questions@taurenThinkTank.com. And with that, we're going to talk a little bit about Doghouse Systems. They are they're just closing in on their final deals for the holidays. And there's a friend in the chat room tonight, and his name is Trelant. And he happens to be our raid leader on one of my co-raid leader on Cat on Fire, my raid team. And he just told the best story about his Doghouse system that he bought. He was literally out of the box, plugged in, ready to play WoW after installing his add-ons. And it was exactly what I wanted to hear, because it is the experience that I have had dealing with Doghouse. It's the experience that you will have as a World of Warcraft gamer with that. And I can't say enough about how great these folks are. They know that you're a WoW player, and they make sure that your game is all set, patched up, ready to roll, so you can just plug in and go. And there's so much more beyond that, obviously. At some point, I want to be playing the new Game of Thrones from Telltale that's coming out. The RPG that they've done, which is amazing. And Doghouse runs that thing like a champ. I saw it on Arcanes and went, oh. So if you're interested in getting a Doghouse system for the holidays, please go to doghousesystems.com. Enter the code TT, that's TTT, to get double the memory on your brand new gaming system. I think that the deal ends today. I think it's ending today. It's the 13th. So at that point, you'll be entering our code for double the memory. And we thank you. This show is run on a Doghouse system, by the way, on the stream that you can see on YouTube and our live chat room. You'll see it. It is run on a Doghouse system. And we thank them for the support of Tauren Think Tank, and for you guys to support our sponsor. All right. I'm going to move this around, get this ready, and it's time. It's Think Tank time. It's Think Tank time. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Tauren between options? Let Triple T help you sort it out.
And it's the Think Tank. It is the time when we answer your advice questions. This one is near and dear to both Marconin and myself, and I'm betting a lot of people who are in the chat room tonight, who are listening to the show on the download, I think you will know what this feels like. So here we go. Hi, Triple T. I recently came back to WoW after taking 4 years off. When I originally played, I was a hardcore raider. In Vanilla and BC, I was the main tank of a guild that held a consistent raiding schedule of 5 days and at least 30 hours a week. Basically, raiding was my life, and I loved the pressure and responsibility that came with my raiding role. Unfortunately, during this time, I noticed that I had a lot of trouble sleeping because I would obsessively dream about raid encounters. I hold myself to the highest caliber of play, and often my dreams would involve me making some raiding wipe mistake. At this time, my body physically experienced a moment of extreme guilt, feelings of failure, and woke me up. I could not explain these dreams as they would always represent fictional scenarios and never actually represented any mistakes that I've actually made while playing. The focus of the dream were always on my performance, so the details about bosses, teammates, and zones were not memorable when I consciously recalled the dream. After I quit WoW, these dreams immediately ceased. I have not experienced this type of dreaming in other areas of my life. It was only for World of Warcraft. Actually, I had completely forgotten that this had ever occurred in my life until this morning. I slept poorly last night because I was dreaming of WoW all night. Specifically, I was dreaming about the raid encounter that we were having trouble with as a guild. Last night, my guild's first progression raid into High Mall, and we were having issues with Bracken Spore. This time, instead of the dream being about me tanking, it was about me as a mage, my new main. In college, a little lack of sleep didn't mean much to me as I would just sleep in the next day. Today, I'm at work slurping down extra coffee to get back the energy I need to do my day job as a software developer. I don't know why I'm having these dreams or what I can do to get them to stop. I enjoy raiding, it's why I play this game. If not raiding is the answer, then I just need to quit WoW again, which would be a bummer, as Warlords of Draenor has relit that passionate fire I used to have for the game. What can I do to get these dreams under control? Thanks, and love the show. From Stimulant on Thrall US. P.S. Raid time is 8 to 11, Tuesday and Thursday, and I generally go to sleep around 12 if this information helps.
So not quite 30 hours a week.
No. So that is 6 hours a week versus 30 hours a week.
There you go.
That is, okay. 30 hours a week of raiding is intense.
That's a lot, yeah. That's like progression. That's like super progression guild world record setting, race to world first stuff right there.
4 years ago, 4 years ago would be 2010.
Wrath or Kata?
Yeah.
I think Kata came out in 2010.
So yeah, that's intense. So let's talk about the connection we can make to this in our own worlds and our own experience. Marconin, where do you have this happen to you?
It happened the most to me in high school and a little bit in college, and it was about marching band. I would dream. It was after game night, so it was Friday night after the high school games. I'd be asleep at my dad's, and I would wake up to, in my mind, like the tuba section. The sousaphones would come busting in the door in uniform, playing, swinging the horns. They'd march past my bed, and then they'd go through the wall. You know, not like Mr. Kool-Aid Man bust through the wall, but they would just disappear into the wall. And it was kind of very, very vivid. I knew I think it was one of those like sleepwalking almost.
Yeah.
And I would be thinking, oh crap, where's my horn? I don't have my uniform. What show are we doing? I can't remember. What am I doing? You know, and it was panicky a little bit, but it was also very surreal. Like, you know, it was in that state of being asleep or being in a dream where you're cool with the situation. Like whatever's happening, it's happening and I'm cool with it. This is the reality that I'm dealing with right now. But it was just weird. And it was very, like I said, very vivid. I knew where I was. And I knew that I had to be playing my horn, so I would be trying to get up, and then it was just very strange. It happened a few times in college as well, and that's really I've dreamed about WoW before. I've dreamed about raids and such, but it wasn't to the degree that Stimulants was. So for me, it was marching band. Have you encountered things like this before?
Oh gosh, have I ever encountered something like this before? Okay, so that was like the loaded question of the loaded question because it happens to me all the time. And so I'm going to talk about my personal experience and we'll talk about why this is happening to Stimulant. So there have been a couple of times where I've edited shows. A couple of years ago, I was responsible for running Convert to Raid for 2 weeks while Pat Crane was in Italy.
Yeah, I remember that.
And something happened with the recording for Solar Flare, who was on at the time. His recording never got captured, and we had recorded just our own tracks of it and then matched them up. And then we had recorded a background, like we were on Mumble to record it to stream it. And so we had that recording of Mumble that was really digital and kind of icky, but it was the backup recording in there. And so because we had lost his recording, I literally had an 8-hour job of editing of editing a 2-hour show and dropping in his track and in and out of the good stuff that we had when it was time for him to talk. So the night that I went to bed after editing for 8 hours of audio, all I could see in my brain was scrolling lines of a wave.
All the audio tracks. Oh yeah, the waveform.
And it was so stressful because my brain, it was like racing, because when you edit, they're rolling past you on the screen in a constant motion, moving past you on a scroll, and my brain just kept doing that, and then it would get me more and more anxious, and it would go faster and faster. And terrible feeling. I've dreamed about raiding. And what normally happens to me when I'm under a lot of stress, and because what happens to me is I get very tired because I'm exhausted. I've worked myself down, and I've just kind of gotten myself ready to go. You're just tense and all that stuff. And I wind up going to bed and passing out solid for about 2 to 3 hours. And then my brain wakes me up sometime in the 2 to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock range, and it starts to spin. It starts to spin everything that's happened to me that entire day, picks it apart, and just goes around and around in a circle. And it emotionally, it's so emotionally intense. I read something recently. I am not an expert on this. If somebody is an expert, I want to hear from you about it. The explanation, if you ever feel when you wake up in the middle of the night and you have these really intense emotions of anxiety or frustration, or like you wake up and you're like, this is the best idea ever. And then you go back to sleep and you get up and you're like, well, that was kind of a crappy idea. It's the balance between the serotonin and the melatonin in your body. And it is that feeling of, and when you get something really intensely emotional, it's the difference in balance. And I don't know which one is which. I just read this recently and I didn't retain it. So, but the point being is that it is a chemical thing that happens to you. And so one of the things that if you're raiding for right before you go to bed and then you go to bed, that's the last thing your brain had time to work on and focus on. And it was intense. And you didn't really do anything to kind of shut it down, like watch something on Netflix or read a book or something like that to kind of take yourself down a couple notches. And so your brain is still in that mode of like super focused on strat and don't wipe and don't hit the wrong button and, all of those things. So no wonder you're like exhausting yourself and not going to sleep.
Yeah.
So...
And it says that he raids till usually 11 o'clock and then goes to sleep around 12 midnight. So that he's got an hour there. And I wonder what he does in that hour to calm down or cool down from it. With an hour there, there's a lot you could do. You could just get stuff ready for the next day. Probably, it may be that he does this and he still gets the vivid dreams anyway. But that's what I would do is I would use that hour to wind down, listen to some calm music, watch a little bit of TV, or, especially like read a book, just do something very low key and relaxing to ease yourself into sleep instead of passing out from exhaustion or something. Because that's when it really hits you. Like you were saying, Jules, is that you're going 90-0 on these raids and it's all you're thinking about. And that's what you throw at your subconscious is like, these are raid strats. I wipe it on the thing. And it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Well, let's replay it, and that's kind of how I think it works anyway.
Yeah. Well, think about this too. When you work and you go to a job, he's a software developer. So your job is expecting you to think very intensely. You're thinking about code. You're thinking about planning out where you're going. It's a lot of intense thinking and focus. And you're doing that with what I would assume is at least 8 hours a day. You come home, you have some food, and then you sit down at, 8 o'clock? Yeah, 8 o'clock. So let's think about that. You come home, let's say you work 8 to 5. Throwing out there. Come home, 5 o'clock, you have your dinner, you spend some time with your family. If you have a family, you have a little bit of downtime. Maybe it's running an errand after work, but you're always kind of just going. And then you go into another intense thinking situation. Your brain has never had the opportunity to wind down. It's not a bad thing. It's just what we do to each other. We do this to ourselves. I remember going when I went to Africa or, different places, and how often people just sat and did nothing
Mm-hmm.
and just sat. Like you just be with yourself. And I think about this all the time. I think about that I should try to just shut down, get into a dark place, a room with music, soft music, and just focus and just, let it go. I have so many things that I want to do that I'm like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar spot. I'm always, like I was saying, this whole week, I would go to work, and as soon as I got off work, I'd come back and I'd work on all this stuff, and then I'd work on it till 1 or 2 in the morning, and then just get so sleepy that I just, roll over and go to sleep. Just crash on the bed, and I'm out within 5 minutes. So it's I didn't feel the value in the time of slowing down. We've just had 2 years of Pandaren saying, slow down.
It's so true. But then also take into account how much stimulation we have in our day. Mm-hmm. We have cell phones. Anybody can get in touch with us at any given time via a text message. If you're on Twitter, you're getting notifications. Someone sent you a DM. Someone mentioned you. You got an email. You're checking your Facebook. You've got, there's a game to be played on your phone. You go and flip on your computer when you get home. There's these 3 things I need to do. I need to read some Reddit, some BuzzFeed. Check my fantasy football league.
My garrison's up.
My garrison is up. There's something new on Netflix. Let's flip that on while we're in the middle of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people have 2 monitors now. So there's Netflix on one screen and your stuff on the other.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about how much input we take in, and it only gets more. I mean, go back 10 years. Were you like this?
Not at all. Not at all.
I didn't have a
smartphone.
I know. I have a moment too when I think about, and I've said this on the show, the only time that I am hyper focused in my day is when I'm sleeping or when I'm doing this show. Because there's the chat room over here that I'm watching. I'm watching you on the camera. I have the notes over here. There is still stimulation, but my phone is on mute, so nobody can talk to me on my phone. I'm not checking Twitter. I'm not checking Facebook. I'm as focused right now as I am in probably any other waking moment of my life, because even in the car, I'm driving my car and I have a podcast on as I'm driving home, multitasking all the time. So when we think about this and we think about the things that we do, do I want to change that about myself? That's one of those things I feel like I should do, but I don't really want to.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, I don't mind it. It's just part of who I am, unless there is a problem somewhere where I can't sleep or or it's affecting my job or, all of that kind of thing. And in Stimulant's case, it's affecting your sleep. And that is a big deal. You're talking about how you used to be a student, didn't matter, sleep in the next day. You can't do that when you're in a job. So how do we fix this?
Well, it could be, the main thing is making sure you try to cool down after the raid. And I would even go if he could get an earlier end to his raid so he'd have even more time to cool down, and just make that part of early in the day. And I don't know if you could do that or not because of raid teams or family or whatever, but, that's a thought too. But I think the first thing that you try to really, like Turart said earlier, I think she has like 20 minutes of no tech time before sleep, like no computer, no monitor. And it's shown that it hurts our sleep. I can't complain because I have the iPad laying on the bed when I go to sleep, sometimes watching YouTube or something. But, the bright lights from monitors, from phones, tablets, computers affect your brain chemistry to where it makes you less sleepy and you don't get as good quality sleep.
Because it's a stimulation to your eyes.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's kind of funny that his name is Stimulant and we get this letter from him. So, very appropriate name for his tune. So, yeah. But I would definitely look into having a lower key end to your day. Just have, calm music playing if you dig that. Read some, find a book series you like. I did that with the Dresden Files when I read those, is I would read those at night and just kind of do that. But
And maybe audiobooks would be a better way to go.
Yeah,
if you don't,
that's a good way too.
If you want to hear something, but then have your brain process it. When things are really, really stressful for me, I literally force myself to do this, but I will go and I will have, and usually there's a cat in the room that comes in and just, needs the bed or lays next to me. But I do some deep breathing exercises. So it's very, very simple. And if you can force yourself to do it, it actually is very relaxing. But it's a deep breath and a tensing and releasing of different parts of your body, moving up from your feet all the way up to your head and neck. So you start with your toes, you take a deep breath in, and you clench your toes, and then you breathe out and release them. And then the next breath in, you clench your calf muscles, and your deep breath out, you release them. And you work your way up your body to release those muscles, set by set, going up your body until you get to your neck and head, and then to your face too. You tense your face and you release it, and that's the last thing. And then you take a huge deep breath at the end, and then just let it go. And I feel so much better because it's not only increasing the amount of oxygen in your body when you're breathing deeply. You're not breathing your normal shallow self. It is going to increase the relaxation and hopefully help you sleep a little bit better. It's a very simple exercise, but it's something that has helped me. I just don't always do it when I should. This can be paired with music, soft music, something relaxing, during this time of year. Some Mannheim Steamroller might be not such a bad idea.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
Now look at you. You're thinking, I'm like, Mannheim Steamroller.
I was like, man, I was listening to... We're putting up the tree, and I've got the Swingin' Christmas on my Pandora, so you get Dean Martin and a lot of Nat King Cole and stuff like that, really, and kind of jazzy stuff. But, Mannheim Steamroller, I love them.
Yeah, them and pentatonics, man. You can really kind of relax to pentatonics too if you're getting there. I like one of the things, like I talked about Jim Brickman. I listened to him. His piano music's really beautiful. If you like that kind of thing, there's a lot of different things that you can do that you like, that you can relax to. But it is something that you have to take a conscious effort to do it, and you feel a little hokey doing it. It feels a little like, do I really have to? Because literally all we do as Americans, and I'm sure that this happens in other countries too, but we just go and go and go and go and go and go and sleep.
Yeah. Straight away.
It's what we do. And, we push ourselves to the limit. We squeeze every minute of every day into everything that we do. And then, boom, it's time. Okay, now it's time to go sleep. And when we're gamers and we're like, just one more quest, just one more garrison mission. And then you're like, oh, I'm so tired. I got to go to bed. Okay, I got to go to bed. And so, you wear yourself down until it's time to go to sleep. So I think that is going to help you get your dreams under control, because you're not letting your brain relax and shut down from that. You're dreaming, and then the emotion, not imbalance, but the shift in your hormones is bringing out your fears and trepidations, the internal stuff that you don't really talk about. Your brain's making up this stuff that didn't actually happen, but you're bringing it out. My insecurities come out very, very strongly at night, in the middle of the night when I'm awake. Because that's what happens. It's that emotional time. It's also, you're letting down your guard. You're just with yourself. It's, you and yourself, and it's a lot of unresolved crap. So
yeah.
So those are the things that you can do to try to help yourself. Breathing exercises, music. Take a little bit of time away from your electronics and see if it helps you.
Yeah, that's the first step I would advise.
Yeah, and I would really caution against looking for anything related to pharmaceuticals or natural stuff. I don't tend to go that route, even if it's melatonin. I'm not really. I think there are other things we can do before we have to give ourselves medication.
Definitely do the steps after that. You can try the medication, but try just the stuff. Try the stuff for free first. You're not paying for the breathing exercises, or, you're paying for the price of a book. But come on, it's not too much. Or an audiobook.
Your brain will thank you for your book.
Yes.
You expanded your horizons for a book. So.
Unless it's like old VCR instructions or something. You know?
Well, that'll put you to sleep. There you go.
It'll put you to sleep, give you nightmares of like gears and switches and old VCRs. Like, oh no, it ate my tape. How do I get my tape back out? Got to get a pencil in there and wheel back in the audio cassette.
Oh man, those things that we had to learn. I used to work at a video store when I was in high school, and the things you learned about trying to fix videotapes that broke. Oh man.
How many of those tape rewinders did you guys have on call all the time?
Oh, at least 4, because everybody, that whole Be Kind rewind sticker that they put on that thing was never listened to, and after a while you'd be like, I'm going to put $10 on your account as a debit.
Wow, $10 for not rewinding.
Yeah, man, you were like militant. This is a family-owned business, and he was in the mafia. So
I'm gonna say you're making bank on those Be Kind rewind stuff. Good grief!
This guy used to pay me off a roll of bills in his pocket that were about this. It's about like a big chunk the size of my palm. That's how he used to pay me under the table, because his name was Joseph Spinella. I swear he had mafia ties. I swear to you.
I was going to say.
Nicest man in the world, but I swear it was the Sopranos light. So, anyway.
Yeah.
So, Jules, it's Friday? Let me see what I got here for you. Let's see how many. You had a good day. You did good today. Here's a little extra for you. You've been good. Have a good day, kid.
Thank you, Joe.
You go have yourself a nice evening. Go buy yourself something nice.
Go get some pasta. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears. Going to tell us one thing. Oh, by the way, if you want to send in your questions to us, it's questions@taurenThinkTank.com. We got distracted by Joe over there. Questions@taurenThinkTank.com. Nate is clearing the chat room now, so it's a party and you guys are missing it. All right, tell us one thing time. Let's go.
We read your submissions because reading your mind would just be creepy.
Lori in the chat room just said,
"Go get yourself a nice steak dinner."
So true too. Start us off, kind sir.
All right, from the creepy one. What non-WoW Blizzard character would you want as a follower? My wife and I would like to see Kerrigan.
Oh gosh, could you imagine if Kerrigan was like tromping around in your garrison? Where would you put her?
In a very down in the mine. I'd seal her off. No.
Stay down there. Stay down in the mine. Okay, so what non-WoW?
So who would you have from Diablo or StarCraft or Overwatch? Now, don't forget Overwatch.
Well, I mean, someone like Tracer might be a little out of place in a garrison setting.
Oh, she would clear out your mind really quick. She just teleport, just blink down in there, or pick your herbs real quick. Boop, 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 boop.
That would be pretty awesome,
big old sack of herbs. Cheers, love. Be gone.
The chat room is going unanimous about Tracer.
Oh, yeah.
I love her. She's one of my favorite characters from Overwatch. I would say, though, I would like to have Deckard Cain hanging around in my garrison. We'd put him maybe in the salvage yard. So as you come by with your salvage, he could do fun things where he just kind of conjures something as you're like, I just put something extra in your bag.
Hey, wife, listen.
I'm handing this to you.
Yeah.
I'm handing you Deckard Cain right now.
Exactly. I can't. I can't. I'm trying to put it together.
I know it's pressure. It's pressure.
I know.
You could tell us a bunch of stories. So who would you put there?
Oh man, let's see. It's a tough one. It would be. I'm trying to think from like Diablo or StarCraft. Who would I put in there? I mean, Tyrael would just be awesome just for to hear him talk to you.
I love him.
Just the Archangel of Justice. Do you have anything for me to do? Or something. Just this big booming.
Yeah, he's just so regal.
Do you need me to go on a garrison mission of justice? Or something like that, and just go all out. And then I don't know, Winston would be kind of cool to see, lumbering around.
He'd be the best person to take with you to go pick lumber.
Oh yeah, he would. Yeah, and he'd have like the bodyguard ability. He'd be like trumping around with you, enjoying the expansion.
That
Here,
would be
take
awesome.
cover. I have this.
That would be awesome. No, I'm down with that. I think Winston would be a great option for your bodyguard because nobody's gonna mess with that big monkey coming behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my bodyguard, bitches.
I've been watching. I bought Guardians of the Galaxy on Tuesday,
I love
and I've watched
that movie.
I've watched it twice already this week, and that reminded me of the bodyguard. This guy's with me. He's our booty. That thing when they're in the kiln.
I
like,
love that movie. I need to see it again now.
Oh yes, you do. I love it. It's one of the best space epics we've had since Star Wars. It's just so good.
I know. I just
love it.
I love everything about it. Every single character is awesome. I can't decide who's my favorite. That is the mark of a great movie.
Yeah, I can't decide either. I love Drax, love Star-Lord, love Groot. My least favorite, I guess, would be Gamora, but that's because we didn't get enough, I don't think, of her background. And I watched the extra and deleted scenes, and they had a lot of extra stuff with her and Nebula on the Dark Aster. And James Gunn had the commentary. He's like, I would have loved to have this, but we were already on the Dark Aster too long, and was just kind of, we need to get out of there and get to the next act. So I was like,
I wish we had seen more of her though, because I really liked her, and and I think it was the way that she was kind of positioned, and it was like she was such a badass, and I wanted to see her be more badass, than to kind of be called the whore,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the only thing I had about it. The complaint about that movie, by the way, was when Drax is going through the whole thing of like, this tree is my friend. Yeah. This rodent is my friend. This green whore is my friend. And I'm like, come on, that's not okay.
Yeah. It's like just the eccentricities of Drax, I guess. Yeah. But still, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. So
heck, I'd love to have Groot with me there in the garrison as well, even though I'd tell the guys at the lumber yard to stay away from him. Like, hey, the talking one is not to be cut down.
Ready to work.
I love that they brought back that audio from Warcraft.
Off I go.
Off I go then. I haven't gotten. Have you done any on the Horde side? Because do they go, Zug?
Yes.
Zobu.
Yes.
Something you doing?
Yes, that is what it is.
Good.
They've got more. It's always the same with the Alliance guy. Ready to work. Off I go. Then is the same thing for the Alliance guys. The Horde guys they have their whole their whole shtick is going through, and it's pretty damn
I need
funny.
to do that on mine.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, who's the next one?
Next one is from _Lero. What garrison follower would you choose to have live with you in real life?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Who would I want out of all of them?
This is hard for me, and I guess it's because I don't really have a strong connection to any of my followers.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know. I mean, I'd rather have Pepe.
Yeah, that's probably the best answer for it. I finally got Admiral Taylor.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
And going through that storyline at his garrison was sad because he's been there for a long time, and now his ghost is following you around on your garrison. And I would almost say Admiral Taylor because of the just the kind of emotional tie to him, and he's been a staple for the for the game for a long time. But he would still be a ghost kind of hanging around, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe gosh, I can't even think. Maybe that gosh, I don't even know.
I'm going through all of them in my... this week. We tried to get him for you and couldn't do it.
Yeah, I tried to get I mean, come on, he would have been awesome to have in my garrison.
I know.
We couldn't do it.
We couldn't do it.
Stupid
we tried.
Fire.
We'll have to get it. We'll do it better this time.
Come on, Arcane, get out of the fire. Don't let me die. No.
And Crobat is dead. I guess I'm gonna have to say Pepe because I love Pepe with I'm in love with that little bird.
I still need to go get him. I haven't like gotten to him yet or anything like that. I'm always focused on everything else.
Find Pepe, man. He's so
I
cute.
know, Pepe.
You're gonna come raid with us on Monday. You have to have Pepe on your head when you go.
Okay, I will.
All right.
Ready to work.
Ready. Read the next one.
All right, the next one. This is Zoinks. This one comes from Reaper Scoob. That was a really bad Shaggy. I'm so sorry.
Zoinks.
So
It's like Shaggy was having his change of life going on there.
it was Zoinks. Okay, so from Reaper Scoob. If you could, what race in WoW would you have switch from Horde to Alliance or vice versa?
Okay, this is absolutely easy for me. I would put the Blood Elves from Horde to Alliance. Come on. And then I mean, the obvious answer is going to be bring the Tauren over, but I don't know. I love Blood Elves, and I wish I could play them on the Alliance side. So that's my greedy little thing, is I want that. Jared was making me laugh about your Scooby. From Alliance, bringing them to Horde. I guess you could say the Worgen. I could bring the Worgen over there. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the easy way out and say Tauren from Horde to Alliance. Because I mean, I really do think that. I think there would be a lot of Tauren that would come over because they're their demeanor is almost like a neutral faction almost. Just the way that they feel. They just want it was just kind of a cool thing for them to be in the Horde. They were there when Thrall needed them, and Thrall helped them, and they're a very respectable race. Not to say that the rest of the Horde aren't, because I really do like a lot of the Horde races.
Yeah, I know.
But I would say the easiest one for me to switch would be the Tauren, and from Alliance to Horde, I would say the Dark Iron Dwarves. Except now they're part of the Council of Three Hammers. I would say that the Dark Irons would be the quickest to jump ship and go to the Horde.
Sure.
So that's, exactly. 2020 said, "Earth Mother shine upon the,
Karis is
Earth
trying to make an appearance here. I
Earth
don't know. You
Mother
guys probably saw
over
a little glimpse of him coming up the side here. Hi, buddy. He said, "Mom, I woke up."
Still have a sleepy dog over there.
Yeah, you do. He kind of moved around a little bit, and that was it.
Yeah, he's still napping.
And we'll do the next one from Memeth. Whoops, you got sucked into Azeroth and your main finds you. How does he or she help you? No portals, Markonnen. And what trade skills, class skills do you learn for when you return to our reality?
Oh, man.
You,
let's see.
Markonnen, the person, gets sucked into Azeroth, and you meet Markonnen, the gnome.
Oh, man.
Oh, who goes there?
It's me. You.
What do you mean?
I'm you.
That doesn't really make sense, but okay. What do you need?
I'm going to need some help because I'm kind of stuck.
Why don't you just go through the portal over there? I'll just make...
No. Memeth said no portals. He thought this one through.
I guess he did. So, what are you going to do?
Well, I guess you're going to have to teach me something. You already know alchemy and herbalism, so to teach me what you're good at.
Okay, that'll be a good part. What about your class stuff?
Well, can I use fireballs in real life?
Probably not. The laws of physics don't really work on Earth like they do here in Azeroth.
I guess I'll be a warrior then, because that's really the only one. Oh, hunter. Actually, can I be a hunter?
I don't know how to do that. Gnomes can't be hunters yet.
Sore spot. Sore spot.
Oh, they got me right in the side,
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I mean, every other race in Azeroth can play a hunter, except me. I want one.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just have to be a warrior then, because sword and board. That's all I can be. Is that? So I'll just point me to the nearest warrior trainer, and I'll start trying it.
Okay.
And that's it. That's what I would do. I would have to be, Markonnen would teach me herbalism and alchemy. And, I'm not disappointed that I'd be a warrior. It's just, I like to be ranged. So I would And the fact that I couldn't use, I might try paladin if it would have worked in the real world, but probably have to go with warrior. So soaked up enough time for this question. What about you?
I can't compete with that.
Sure you can.
The chat room is going berserk as you talk to yourself as yourself and the gnome. And if you aren't seeing the video, he was literally turning his head back and forth every time each character spoke.
Well, it's like kind of like a Midnight said. It was like Smeagol talking to Gollum. Oh, you're so evil. No, I'm not. Don't talk to me like that. Go away and never come back. What did you just say? I said, go away.
Wow.
I'm so sorry, Jules. Just go ahead.
I can't compete with this. I cannot.
I would be a lot taller than Markonnen too. I would be about 4 feet too tall for him, so I'd be talking down to him all the time. Anyway,
this is impressive as hell. I'm just like, this is amazing. So I would just say, I'd be meeting my dear night elf druid, and so the one thing that I would take back with me is the ability to turn myself into a cat.
Oh, that's awesome.
I would come back into this world, I would turn myself into a cat, and I would race around with Spike and Garrus when they get the zoomies, that they chase each other from one end of the house up the stairs, and I would be running my tail off with the two of them, tackling, run around. It would be the best thing ever. I would be a cat.
You could. It's like every cat person's dream is to like run around with their cats and see what they really think of you. Hopefully it'd be a good thing, because like you feed them and clean up their poop. So hopefully they would like you. Seriously,
it's like I am in the moment where I'm just like, yeah, okay. So in the human perspective, it's like, can you please just scoop my poop? That's what they're probably thinking. Little Karis is sitting next to me right now, looking up at me, and I'm wondering if he's thinking about the poop scooping at this particular moment, or if he's just deciding he wants to jump on my lap.
I don't know whether I want food or I want her to scoop up my poop. Maybe both. I saw this really funny comic strip earlier today. I'll have to show it to you, or I actually retweeted it. It's a little comic of a cat, and he's like, meow, 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 next to an empty cat bowl. And then the owner puts the food in, and he like just gorges himself. And the next frame is him turning around and throwing it up. And then he looks back at the bowl, and the bowl's empty. And then he's like, meow, 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 meow. It's like, I want more food.
It is so true. That's my sassy she will gorge herself, puke it up, eat it up, gross, and then want more food.
It's always better the second time around.
Oh God, it's terrible. All right. We're like way off topic, and that's what Tell Us One Thing is all about.
Yes, it is. Okay. The next one comes from _Ashanka, and he wants to know, what is the most difficult thing you've done that you're most proud of?
Oh, a serious one. Okay.
Yes, we have a serious business.
A serious one. Okay. I would say. Oh, hi, doggy.
There's the doggy.
The dog goes off. Honestly, I think the most difficult thing that I am proud of doing is convincing myself or being okay with the idea of going through my divorce from my first husband. Because I really truly, honestly believed that this was what my life was going to be for the rest of my life. And when you believe that with every fiber of your being, this is the life I chose, this is the way, this cannot change, then you live with that in mind. It was never a possibility in my brain. And when that possibility was finally opened up through therapy and through family and through friends, when I was actually willing to hear it and think that it could be a possibility, it was probably the toughest decision I ever made in my life. Mm-hmm. And it was the right one. But it was something that I never believed and dreamed that I would ever do that and go after a different life than the one that I chose. I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't done that. I wouldn't be sitting at this podcast doing this podcast right now, because I never probably would have played World of Warcraft I never would have met the people I've met, and I would have never had the courage to go after this. So, you know, it's a pretty heavy thing. And so that's probably what I'm most proud of. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a real good one.
Thank you.
You know, because it did impact your life in a very positive way, because otherwise I know I wouldn't be here.
No,
So,
I would never have met you.
Yeah. Well, for me, gosh, the first one that jumps out at me is my communications research class. That was the last hurdle that I had before graduating with a degree in broadcasting, is doing that. And that was a big undertaking. It was my pay with all my research statistics, all the answers, everything. It was over 410 pages long.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a stack of paper. And after everything was done, I got my diploma. I took that thing to a campfire and burned it because it was a way to release all this tension. Because I was up for almost 3 days solid finishing that thing, and I handed it to her as she was getting in her car to leave with them and grade them. I was almost too late turning it in because I was just that kind of goes back to the procrastination thing from a couple of weeks ago.
Full circle.
It was a semester long paper though, and it was a big undertaking, and so I just giving that and earning the degree, I think that would probably do it. Also, deciding on the broadcast degree, because I'd been bouncing between music and a couple of other ones for a while, and just doing that I think is a close second. But I'd say graduation or finishing that class to graduate, I think, is probably the hard, because that was a hard class.
That's an excellent thing.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of things in life that we don't actually acknowledge, that it's a big life-changing decision, you know, in your life until you get there. And it's like, oh my goodness. And then you see it afterwards and you're like, oh, this really kind of changed my life. Those are the things that I really am impressed by, when we realize that moment. But yeah, that's an excellent one. That's a great one. From Turarts, what is the best piece of advice you have ever received? So the timing on this could not be better, because I actually ran across this thread in Reddit, and it was like, what is your mantra? What is your like the thing that the piece of advice that you carry with you? And I read these. I linked it on Twitter yesterday, I think. And there were so many awesome quotes that were just like really good life lessons for people to remember. The one that I have always carried with me, and it was on there too, is that you miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. So in an analogy of like a shooting a hockey puck, or a basketball, or a soccer ball, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, or asking that pretty girl out on a date, or, you know, deciding on changing your major, or any of that other stuff. Yeah,
taking that job, changing, moving to a different home. There's when you don't try, you'll never succeed. And that was something that I heard when I was young. And I went with that. I took it with me and said, this is something that I will always live my life. The quote that I actually had on my yearbook, under my yearbook photo in high school, was, the purpose of life is a life of purpose. It was very simple.
That's a good one. It's deep, but it's good.
Yeah. And so it was, and that is really, live your life of purpose, and then you will always be happy. There are so many quotes. I'll link it again to the chat room in a moment, for those who are here, of what I had from this Reddit thread. It is amazing. And there are really, really good quotes in here that people can kind of take with them, and think about. It was really very, very cool. So what was the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Well, and one that kind of goes with it that my mom always says is, nothing ever changes if you don't change nothing. And that's kind of a...
Yes.
That's another one that's kind of along those lines.
It's very Southern.
Yeah, it is very Southern, but I actually twanged down into it a little bit when I said it, didn't I?
You did. It's great. I loved it.
Not so much a saying as a place of being. So there's that one. And don't stare at the closed door to miss the open window. Kind of that kind of thing is, I can't remember exactly how it words, but don't stare at the closed, don't dwell on something that you can't change, because you may miss a golden opportunity that's just outside of your field of view,
Yeah.
So I think that's one that I have to constantly remind myself about.
Yeah.
Is, I would love to get a job in broadcasting. That's what I went to school for. That's where my passion is. I don't want to be traveling around the country for the rest of my life, working nights most of the year. And I've just got to don't dwell on the fact that I don't have a job in it yet, and just keep working towards it and focusing on what I can do to change it. And so just trying not to stare at that closed door, So that's
because
what
you'll stay, you will stay stagnant. You will stay,
exactly.
That you may miss an amazing opportunity because you are so focused on what you don't have that you can't see what you might have. There's so many of those kinds of things out there, and all of them speak to people differently. But I think that those two pieces of advice are something that we carry with us when we do our day to day. And you should. I mean, you should always kind of think about what your own mantra is, what you say to yourself to kind of keep you going, to keep you on a positive track. Yeah, these are good ones. And
really
then,
good.
And then we go to the next one.
Do I read this one?
Yes.
From is it Jagger?
Jagger, yeah.
From Jagger Tap. What's your favorite poop quest? They got like 5 or 6 of them. Which one's your favorite poop one?
My favorite poop quest is from the Grizzly Hills line. You know that one where you go out.
Is that where you eat the berries and then you got to go to the outhouse and poop them?
Yes.
I remember that one.
They make you gather up all the berries, they make you eat them, and then you poop them.
Yeah.
That one is funny.
I think you eat them. Like, the game makes you eat them, but then the character's like, what do you mean you just ate all those berries? Oh, we need it. We need them. I need them back. Get them back. However you want to do that.
Yeah, in that barrel over there.
Yeah. You have to go to the outhouse.
Yeah, so that one is my favorite. How about you?
Oh, gosh, it's a tie for me, because the first one is from Nagrand, where you have to get the berries that the Talbooks have eaten and then pooped out. And you have to get the berries from their poop, because I remember actually having to click on the poop. And I was like, oh, I didn't want to right click. My middle finger from the right click felt dirty afterwards. I was like, ew.
There was a debate in Guild Chat if this was the original poop quest, the one in Nagrand.
Yeah,
Nagrand.
I think it is.
And I think that was the original one.
Yeah, and then the other one for me is the one in Borean Tundra called Lupus Pupus, where you have to go dig for the microfilm through the wolf poop.
I forgot about that.
Lupus Pupus.
Oh,
that
great.
Was the mostly for the name of that quest is so funny.
I totally forgot about Lupus Pupus. That's awesome. It's like the best name ever. We've got we've got like 50 optional things for our show title tonight.
Yes, we do.
Oh,
I was thinking about a nice steak dinner.
A nice steak dinner was probably on the top of the list too.
Yeah.
Oh, from Moogiver, cut pile, loop pile, or plush carpet.
Well, is that for like what we want in our house, or because I'm not sure what cut pile and loop pile are.
I don't either. This might be an Aussie thing. I don't know, because I'm thinking when we're talking about, I mean, so we call it Berber carpet, which is like I guess that's the loop pile one where it loops back in, it's stitched right back in, and it's very, it's like the Berber carpet. And then there's the plush carpet where like I am on plush carpet right now. It's kind of the lighter one where it's the strands are up and it's softer. Okay. And then the cut pile I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. But there's a bunch of different, I mean, you think about like shag carpet in the 70s where it was really long strands of yarn. But I like the plush carpet. I like soft carpet.
Mm-hmm.
And the cats, of course, love the soft carpet as too because then they claw it up. There's so many bare spots on our carpet.
Oh yeah, I'd have to go with the plush carpet too because like the loop carpet, like along with the shag carpet, it'd be harder to vacuum stuff up. I would think 'cause they would get stuck in the loops, and plus if you got cats and they're clawing at the thing, it'd be caught in the loops and it would cut the loop with their claws. So I think that's another thing against it. So I'd probably say plush carpet too.
Yeah, don't get they call it Berber carpet, and I think it's the loop stuff. It's really short and it's real tight, and it's harder. There's not as much cushioning to the steps.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. I remember that.
Yeah, and so it's real. And the cats, it's like rough surface. It's almost similar to like rope sisal. So they'll just love that, and it's not good for having cats because they'll just sharpen their claws on that like crazy. They're better on this kind of carpet that I'm on, which is the more plush carpet. Why the hell are we talking about carpet?
I don't know. We just get tile or wood floor. Like we got a hardwood floor here. There's little bits of carpet, but it's a hardwood floor in here.
Yeah, I just like to be able to walk around without shoes on and have my feet be all soft. That's me.
Yeah, it's really comfy.
We fought this one out when we built this house, and I'm like, carpet! I want carpet! He's like, I want hard floor. I'm like, no, we're getting carpet! So I won.
Oh, yeah. Because Arcane doesn't want to sleep in the doghouse or anything. He
wants to sleep on. He does not want to sleep on that comfortable couch downstairs at all. My mom's leaving. Bye, Mom. Love you.
Bye.
Bye, Dad. You can read the next one.
Okay, the next one. This one's from Box Tech, and he or she wants to know what is some of your favorite little nuances in WoW. Mine is the fact that Thrall is left-handed, and I did not pick up on that fact because I am left-handed as well, and I didn't even pick up on that. So, yay Thrall!
Yeah, I didn't even know
that. That's awesome. It's like most of the last few presidents are left-handed, and so is Thrall. That's amazing. I love that. I wonder if Metzin's left-handed too. If that's why Thrall's left-handed. Things you wonder.
I don't know. I don't. This was really hard for me. I've been struggling to think about what it would be. The little nuances. I think it's more for me. It's more about the snarky stuff that shows up in quests. And when they name. When they name certain characters, NPCs, and you notice like the one of the lumber mill guys is Justin Timberlord, and so you realize that there's when they make a character from a celebrity and you just figure it out. I mean those are the things that I love because it's pretty obvious most of the time when you're just like ha 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 you were funny.
Yeah, I think especially like the quests and the character names and the achievements. Like there was this one Pandaren in, I don't know if I talked about it before on the show, but there's a Pandaren in the Dread Wastes, and she's rolling up and down a hill, and her name is Adele. She's rolling in the deep.
I didn't know that.
She's constantly barrel rolling up and down this hill, and I saw her first time I saw her, and I clicked on her, I was like, it's Adele. Oh, that's awesome. That's funny.
Oh, dude.
Just those little things.
I didn't know that.
Gosh, I was trying to see. I can't remember. I know how like on Mechaneer's chopper and the Mechano Hog, they've got the little things on them, and sometimes those little bitty nuances on the mounts too. Like if you look on your Sky Golem, if you've got one of those,
yes.
Tilt it around and zoom into what your character's looking at, and it's a picture of Kerrigan from the box of Heart of the Swarm.
Oh,
she's on the display panel right there.
Dude, there's like a ton of little Easter eggs out there, and I'm sure a bunch of people know like different little things, and then but until they pull them together, that's awesome. I love this.
Yeah.
If you're thinking of this and you're going, oh guys, I think of this, you need to talk about it. Send us an email. We'll read them on the show next week. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. But that's those little bitty things that there's not a specific one for me, but there's just a ton of. I like 311, and that one quest. Or the one achievement from the Klaxi where it's called Amber's the Color of Your Energy. Because I love that song anyway. And so it's just all those little things. It's just, just awesome. They're nerds too, just like
Really
us.
cool. Oh, that's awesome. This is going to be a super long show, and I don't care.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
So we got the last one from Draven Dresden. If you could be invisible for 24 hours, what would you want to do?
Oh man, let's see here. What would I do for 24 hours invisible? I would. I'd go into some people's houses and rearrange their furniture when they're not there, or start moving stuff. Just something, nothing evil or malicious. Just make them think there's a poltergeist or something in the room. Like move like a little, start moving their mouse on their computer, let it wave in front of them, or just something. I don't. That's really the only thing I can think of. Or go take my car. Or take someone else's car. Since I'm invisible, I can take the car keys and just start driving down the interstate.
Oh,
people looking in, there's nobody driving the car. That's why they're robot cars. Must be. Then they want them Google cars. They don't drive with no person in them, or something.
They don't drive with no person in them.
I have a lot of material to pull from, Jules. I can't help it.
Could you be any more Southern right now?
I don't have any camo or combat boots, or not combat boots, cowboy boots. Boots. Yeah.
You're not wearing plaid.
I don't know. I could fix that, but no, I'm not.
So the answer is yes, Jules. I can be a lot more Southern than I am right now.
Yeah, I could be if I wanted to, but I choose not to be.
So if I were invisible for 24 hours, I would go to places and see some of the behind the scenes of things that I've always wanted to see.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So I want to see like the behind the scenes of like the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field before they start a game and what it's like. I can stand in the locker room and I can hear them do the speech of like, before the game or something like that.
After the showers though, right?
Yeah, probably. What are you talking about? Come on now.
Everybody was thinking it. Come on now.
I might be human. Oh, that was good. And I would just, I'd go to Hollywood and I'd find out some of the things that they were working on for go to the Star Wars set and see what they were doing, or do all the things that you could do to be able to find out all the things that you want to know.
Yeah, or like go into the I forgot what they called that super secret, like the headquarters inside Blizzard, like where they show all the like the world map and stuff. I forgot what the name of that room is from the documentary.
Yeah,
I want to like sit in there for a while and have it watch them like whatever they do in there, with their Big Brother powers in game.
Yeah, and all the things that you wonder what happens behind the scenes, then you go and you do it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it really like to be Brad Pitt, or something like that? Go to a Hollywood premiere, or stuff like that. I mean, that would be really fun.
Just fly on the wall type stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like going into the White House and seeing like the super secret meetings, where they talk about the aliens that were from Area 51 that are helping us, with terrorists or something. I don't know.
Honestly, though, cool. I think I would probably not want to know half the stuff that I would find out, and that I would be That's like, true. I just don't want to know this. So.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Sometimes it is. So, yeah. But it would still be very cool. So that is Tell Us One Thing for this week. We asked for them on Thursdays on Twitter. It's at Tauren Think Tank on Twitter. You can find it there. If you want to send them in via email, again, questions@taurenthinktank.com is the email address. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to coast into our feedback and an update for the week right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now bring you... Wow, that's a lot of feedback.
And we do have a lot of feedback. Want to read the update for the week?
Sure. This one says, "Hi, Jules and Marconin. I just listened to your podcast at work, and I just wanted to say thank you for the advice and honesty. I'm going to start today and work at writing taking a second thought and thinking about the damage my venting, bitching, oversharing can do. The last thing I want is my relationship to end. And I know that I need to just talk to my girlfriend because she deserves that, and it's respectful. Thanks for the advice and for a great show. Looking forward to next week's episode. Have a good week. From Caspin.
And after we had that discussion last week about, sometimes sitting down and writing out what you thought about, I took my own advice and I did that. And I just wrote some of the things that I was stressed about or trying to work through. And boy, nobody's going to see it but me. But just getting it down really, really helped me. So I would say most definitely a piece of advice that I can stand behind. If you're dealing with some issues, take care of, getting rid of some of those emotions by getting them off your brain and into writing that you can just hide somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
Don't, of course, write a blog and publish it, but
Yeah,
because that wouldn't be good. But it rarely feels exactly the same way when you come back to it after some time has passed and things have changed. And it does help to kind of see, how you felt at the time and went, wow, I really don't feel like that right now. And that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Caspin, thank you so much for your feedback this week. We have more feedback from you guys from Shield Spec. The discussion using buckets of energy reminded me of spoon theory. Interesting stuff. And she gave us a link to the Wikipedia page for spoon theory. Real briefly, spoon theory is a model used by some disabled people and people with chronic illness to describe their everyday living experience when their disability or illness results in a reduced amount of energy available for productive tasks. Spoons are an intangible unit of measurement used to track how much energy a person has throughout a given day. Each activity costs a certain number of spoons, which may not be recharged until the next day. A person who runs out of the spoons loses the ability to do anything other than the rest. So it sounds like the buckets of energy discussion helped some people, and I'm really, really happy to hear that. It certainly has helped me just kind of quantify some of that stuff a little bit. And so if you use spoon theory or you use buckets of energy or percentages or whatever it is, if it helps you, good on you. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That is very cool. You want to read the next one?
Yep. From Sergeant Zim. Garrisonaholic here. I have 5 level 100s with garrisons. I have yet to step into a heroic dungeon, though, so some sacrifice.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd have the time.
All that garrison upkeep, absolutely.
That is 5 garrisons. I think there would be burnout really fast in my world.
Mm-hmm.
It's way too much to keep track of. And I wonder if you'd use, and I asked this on Twitter, Major Death actually responded to our discussion about this, and I said, do you have different buildings in each of your garrisons, or do you mix it up? And I actually found that my monk her garrison has basically nothing in it right now because I just haven't leveled up enough to be able to unlock plans. But I wound up putting I put different things in that garrison, so I wasn't feeling like I was doing the same thing on 2 different tunes.
Yeah, I did that with my paladin too. I've got the forge because he's a blacksmith and jewel crafter. So I've got the forge in there, and I send my ore to him. So I mean, if you've got 5 garrisons with different things, you could do a pretty good job making some gold if you're batting stuff around to different tunes. So
absolutely,
it could be a good thing.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's a lot of work though, man. Good on you.
Yeah, it is.
It
is.
From BRB Cycling, OMG, Tauren Think Tank. Baby Got Back is my go-to karaoke song too. I instantly thought of that before Marconin Wow even said it.
I like their name, BRB Cycling.
That is awesome. Yeah, that was a fun discussion about karaoke.
Oh, it was. Now I've got that song stuck in my head.
Oh, stupid cough. And finally, from Meatsoff Garethos. Hey guys, just wanted to let you know I love your show. It makes my long flight path to real life gold farming enjoyable. #T. I thought that was the coolest analogy. My long flight path, aka my commute.
Yeah.
And we got a nice little lengthy list of /moos tonight too. Look
Yes,
at this.
we do. Yes, we do.
And
Can we read this first?
Yeah,
one,
go ahead and read that one.
All right. This one says, I have 2 slash moos for next week's show / tonight's show. Number 1, slash moo to Freyta on Moonguard. She drew an amazing comic strip about our raid and plans on turning it into a regular thing.
How cool.
And number 2, slash moo to my guild, Kelio Soren on Moonguard and our 30-man raid team. We finished week 1 in Heimal at 5 out of 7 normal and 1 out of 7 in heroic. Amazing start to the tier. Thanks, guys. Great show. Keep it up. And Marconin, that lunch offer still stands the next time you get up towards him. That's from Ballas, GM of Kelio Soren on Moonguard, a.k.a. Russ.
And he even gave us pronunciations for all of that, which was awesome.
Yeah, that does help. I was going to say like Kelio Soren and Ballas maybe because of the 2 A's, but it's Ballas.
It's Ballas and Kelio Soren.
And I may be up there, Ballas. So, gosh, when is it? End of January, maybe, I think. My schedule says I'll be up there for a couple days. So we'll work it out.
Excellent. Oh, excellent. All right. Next one from Curse Gaming. Slash moo to the Tainted Core raid team going 6 of 7 in Heroic Heimal. 1 more to go before Mythic.
Wow,
awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome.
From Zerakim. Slash moo to Aslan from Wormers Accord for making it so easy to love you during this rough time. Always. From Spankies. And then smiley face.
Spankies and Aslan, I love you guys. From Noki of Azeroth, slash moo to at Kel_KT, and LL says for being the bestest friends a girl could have.
They're pretty nice ladies.
I think so too.
This one is from Tormay. Slash moo to Zelane of Rexar, who had knee replacement surgery done on Tuesday. Ready for the pool this summer.
Oh, wow.
And that knee replacement surgery, my grandmother had both of her knees replaced. And that's no joke. No joke at all.
Good luck on that recovery. Ugh,
yes,
hopefully you don't have
very
to
much.
deal with any issues of ice and walking around with that stuff. It's not fun. From Bach Boomkin, slash moo to one of my best friends at Kel Fabulous, who's been a wonderful friend and inspiration for years.
And from at 2020 site, slash moo to the entire Moo crew. You guys are the other reason I love this show.
Thanks, 20.
Yes,
from Ren Workman, slash moo to my wife Morgain. Okay, let me try that again. Slash moo to my wife Morgain for just being as much of a garrison freak as myself.
Nice. From Chandra Kai. Slash moo to all my friends at the Inland Empire WoW Meetup group. Looking forward to seeing everyone next month.
From Mammoth, slash moo to at Sparrowhawk1 for who resumed new braids, which occurs in the AIE guild right after Triple T.
Nice. And finally, from spriest_Lucio. Could I get a slash moo to Whisper Mist on Kargath for saying yes to my marriage proposal? # because of WoW. And
Aww,
yes, you can. Congratulations.
Can. That's amazing. Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah.
# because of WoW. I love it.
That's awesome.
If you guys want to send in a slash moo to the show, we gather them all week long, but you can do it on Saturdays when we request them on Twitter, and it's at Tauren Think Tank on Twitter. Send it to the email, questions@taurenthinktank.com, and we'll get them on the show for you. Very, very sweet. Thank you guys so much. Lots of praise and love for people this week. We love you guys very much. We're on iTunes and Stitcher. If you're listening to the show right now on the download for the podcast, throw us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher if you would. It definitely helps the show and lets others know to find it. We currently don't have any iTunes reviews, new ones to shout out this week. But if you want to send us over, go ahead and do so. We appreciate every download that you guys give us.
Yes, we do.
So that is about it for the show, this very long show this week, but I think it was well worth it for the discussions that we've had tonight. Mark Honan, is there anything that you want to plug or talk about or things that are coming up this week for you?
Not really anything to plug for this week coming up. Just going to keep my head down and work on the projects that I'm working on. Let's see here. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Well, there was something we were going to talk about that we talked about before the show.
Yeah.
Should we talk about that now?
Sure. Why not? Why not? Let's just go with it. Let's do it live.
Yeah, let's just do it live. So, ladies and gentlemen, I work in a retail setting wherein I come into contact with things and stuff when they are released. And at one of the stores I work at, I was looking around, and they had the entire opening night welcome kit for Warlords of Draenor there, and they'd never put it out because they don't do midnight releases. And I asked the lady, I was like, "Hey, you mind if I take some of the, a little, one of these things to take home?" And she's like, "You can have the whole damn thing." And I came into possession of a few of the Warlords of Draenor promotional opening night posters. Now,
Awesome.
I am wanting to give a couple of these away. Tonight, I think we're going to give one away to the chat room after the show.
We are.
And also, we are going to give one away next week for our Christmas show.
Yes, we have. We'll have a way that you guys can enter in to. So if you're listening on the podcast, you'll be able to enter into the drawing, and we'll get it mailed out to you. Super cool. So thank you, Mark Honan, for procuring these for us. And our chat room tonight is going to get an opportunity to get one.
Yes.
So that is going to be super, super cool. Nice little surprise for you guys. It's a thank you for listening to this show. So both our chat room tonight and our entire listening audience next week will have an opportunity to get entered into it. Damn it, I'm losing my voice. So for me, you will have, if you haven't gotten a chance to catch it, I Remembered It Better featured me, Cliff, and Scott Johnson as the third host for a special episode. And we talked a lot about Christmas, and we talked a lot about nostalgia stuff and Star Wars and all that great stuff. And so if you want to check it out, iremembereditbetter.com. It's IRIbetter.com, sorry. And the podcast is called I Remembered It Better. Scott was great. He was very, very fun. The show just went up today, so you can check that out.
I caught the last 20 to 30 minutes of it, and it was hearing all y'all's like growing up Christmas stories. It was just brought back a lot of memories for my stories too, and it was great. So
yeah, it was
definitely check it out.
It was a real treat to have an opportunity to talk to Scott again and have him on the podcast. So check that out. Mark Honan and I are working on something very, very special for our Christmas episode. We're excited by it, and we'll be working pretty hard this week to do it. So
yes, we will.
I can't believe it's almost going to be Christmas. Oh my gosh. And with that, let's start taking this show down the road to completion. How does that sound?
That sounds amazing.
That was a really long way to say let's bring it home.
Let's do it.
Tauren Think Tank is a proud member of the Signals Media All-Star Network. Find out more about the other great shows in the network by going to signalsmedia.com.
Our voiceovers are done by the two Uba mages, Arcane, and myself, Mark Honan. You can find us outside of the show on our website, taurenThinkTank.com, which has all of our podcasts and information on how to get in touch with us.
Thank you to all of our patrons. We have special prizes, perks, and treats for all of our patrons at patreon.com/TaurenThinkTank. Your support helps us make this show even better, and we appreciate everyone who chooses to donate to the show.
Yes, we do. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TaurenThinkTank. You can also find us on Twitter for the show at TaurenThinkTank. You can find Jules at JulesRPG, and you can find me at Mark Honan Wow. You can also chat with us on our forums. Give those boards some love, people. You can find those at forums.signalsmedia.com.
And thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Thank you, chat room. You guys were amazing tonight. You always are amazing, but I think you just...
Yes.
You had some eggnog or something. You were really kicking your butt. I mean, it was awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all of our moderators, and to everybody who listens to this show on the download. We love our fans. The Moo Crew is our... You guys are everything, so we appreciate everything. If you want to listen to us on the live show, you can do so on Saturday nights at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, twitch.tv/TaurenThinkTank. We love seeing you here, and we just love having all of the opportunities to correspond with you guys when we can. So we will be back next week with a very cool giveaway, lots of excellent questions, and maybe a couple laughs and voices on the way.
Maybe a couple.
For me, for Mark Honan, for Arcane, for our entire Moo Crew, we will see you next time. Until then, /Moo, everybody.
/Moo.
I'm going to do this right. You watch. I'm not going to do it right.
Tauren Think Tank. We make your problems less bad.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
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 I suck.
Double thumbs up.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh, I love you guys so much. All right, Marconi, go to the bottom of the show notes for me.
Okay.
You see where my cursor be blinking?
Yes, I do see
All
it.
right. I would like you to type in a number between 1 and 500, please.
1 and 500. Wow, that's a lot of options.
I know. You guys are going to have to work
Oh,
on this.
man. Let's see. Oh, I've got a favorite four-numbered number and a favorite two-numbered number, but not three. Oh, hey, let's see.
He's like, I'm thinking this is a
Okay.
special number because you guys are going to
There
have
we
to
go.
guess it.
Yes. I've put it in.
Where did you put it?
It's right where your cursor was.
No, it's not. I don't see it.
It's way down. You don't see it?
No.
Oh, it says I'm trying to connect. It's been doing that all night.
Okay.
There we
I
go.
see it. I
There
see
you
it.
go.
I see it. Okay.
Yeah, because you would freeze every once in a while for a couple of minutes, and I
Yeah.
think it's because the internet here was trying to do something weird. At least it didn't mess up for the audio, at least. So
So did I
Audio
say
or the-
1 and 500? Did I say that?
oh, whoops, my brain did not work. Oh my gosh. My
it was not
apologies.
between 1 and 500.
My
it was above
apologies.
it.
Oh man. Oh.
Should I just pick it? Is this too much pressure?
Oh no, it's not too much pressure. I was just trying to think of a cool number. Okay. Let's see. Okay, there we
All
go.
right. Okay. So I'm going to count it down and then let the chat room catch up to it. I'm going to mark it to start it. And then you guys and you need to guess it's a number between 1 and 500. The number that's closest is going to be our winner. And there we go. So here's the mark in la 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 la. And marking now.
Slash roll.
Slash roll, people. Slash it.
We're gonna have to. Oh, I'm using the wrong mouse for the wrong. $1, Bob. $1.
Oh, got some close ones here.
Yep.
I think I see the one that is closest right now. And I'm going to be end mark right here. In 3, 2, 1, close. End mark. All right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
I believe that 362 was the closest.
I believe so.
Let's make sure of that. There's my mark. 362. I don't see one closer. The number is 378. Which
Yeah,
means
'cause that would
Fate
be-
3000 is
Yeah,
the
Fate
is the
3000 got
winner
it.
with a guess of 362.
Nice.
Yay!
You're very close.
Ian, you win! Yay! Thank you guys for playing. You will all have the opportunity to enter into the drawing. It will be a Google form, and you will have an opportunity to get in for that as well. So Ian, send. Are you following Mark Honan? Are you following him on Twitter?
I think I am, because I think I see his tweets. If I'm not, I apologize, and I will fix that.
Yeah. So please
In a
send
sec.
Mark Honan an address that he can mail that to you, and we will take care of it for you.
Yep, and we will send it your way.
Yay!
It's not like a full 24 by 36, but it's about that. It's about it's a couple feet wide. It's a good sized poster.
Good. Cool. I'm excited for you.
Let me see here.
It was totally the lack of pants. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I am following you, man. You can send me a DM and I'll work it out.
Awesome. We actually have another engagement after this to talk to somebody for a show. So we can't stick around too late. We're actually talking to Lita tonight. For Behind the Avatar for her Christmas show. So have you heard from her, by the way?
Yeah, not since before the show.
Okay.
But I will let her know that we are ready and raring to go when she's ready.
Okay. Yeah.
May have to take a quick bio water break.
Yep. So we can't stick around too late, guys, but just know we love you guys more than you'll ever know. And thank you for being here tonight and being so amazing. Your conversation tonight just was way beyond what I love it. It keeps us going, and we love you. So
yes, we love you very much.
Thank you for your support, for supporting the show. And we are going to be back next week, hopefully with we'll have presents, and we'll have more presents.
Presents for everyone.
There's presents for everybody. So we love you guys. We'll see you next week, okay?
Yeah, I got it, Fate. It'll be your way soon.
Excellent. Slash Moo,
Night, guys.
everybody.
Slash Moo, guys. See you next week.
Bye.